Welcome to the dungeon, Marine. Most unexciting place on Mars. I'm gonna need you to grab some armor and secure your pistol before I can pass you through security. Okay, grab your gear. Looks like you've been assigned the decommissioned comm facility. Just follow the main passage through the underground junction, then straight out. You'll have a quick evac. And what better way to see the Martian surface than to run across it? Okay, you're all set. Oh yeah, keep in mind, civilians are working down here. Don't get excited and shoot.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I've had some thoughts circulating in my mind on this matter, and it's to do with something that I've gone through on and off throughout my life, and it's that time when you just need to take a break from something. In my case, that was gaming. Since this channel's inception, gaming has been a huge part of it, and the truth is, it still is a part of it even as we speak. But in life, there are points when you just need to stop for a while, clear your head, just clear some space, get some new perspective on things. Last week, I looked at my library of games on various launchers and outside of those launchers, and I just couldn't click on anything. It had nothing to do with a shift in my mood or a shift in genres or the type of gaming that I wanted to do. It was just gaming in of itself, where I realized I didn't want to play anything at all. So I spent some time not playing anything, just to see if it was nothing more than an off day, which can be a common influence that can make you steer off of the path of whatever it is you're doing or whatever interest is holding you presently. I found out that my thoughts hadn't changed for the past few days. In fact, I wanted to do anything but gaming during that time and presently at the moment. Even the idea of just going outside and sitting on a chair for more than 1 hour, getting the gust of the wind, felt more natural and more exciting to me than forcing myself into playing even a 5-minute game. Throughout most of my life, I've experienced a multitude of phases within the single-player multiplayer realm of gaming. Sometimes I wanted sweaty sessions with other players, cozy, relaxing games that I could play while in bed, or something that was rich in narrative and world building. I've always been mood-driven when it comes to this sort of stuff, and I've never really been the type of player to commit to thousands of hours in one single game just for the sake of getting good at it, because I realized in my 20s that as I got older, I knew eventually that I would have less time in general anyways due to a natural development of responsibilities and more important things coming into the fold. So I would just expose myself to new types of games. Whenever I finished a game, I would then move on to the next, and from time to time, I would occasionally replay favorites. My detoxes would be short and I would be back on the horse again. But this time, I've had more food for thought. Looking at my behavior in retrospect, I noticed just how much of a tunnel vision effect gaming had on my daily routine. In the past, it was pure addiction, no beating around the bush there, but with content creating, I was able to add some meaning to it, coming at the game with a productive angle where I could write about my thoughts and opinions on the experience. I've been doing this for just around 2 years and a bit over, but even then, it can still take up an immeasurable amount of time in my day. I've never really socialized as much in my high school years and my young adult years as much as I could have. Gaming helped a lot with that reality, not working as much so that I could game more. And while I don't regret any time that I spent gaming as much as I did throughout my 20s, I know now that there was a price to pay for all that time spent. I had dreams and passions of my own, stuff that I would entertain, ideas that I would, go for and think about, courses that I would have taken in pursuit of finding some sort of job and career or whatever to settle in. But it was easier to just play games and work whatever job that I had at the time that would be in service to gaming more, really. The channel that I built in 2022 has helped me add a productive method to doing this. It's given me as well the opportunity to learn how to edit videos, learn how to be confident with my own voice and not cringe at the sound of it, skills that I could also apply to other fields or other types of videos. But now I'm in a position where I need more than just gaming in my life, and luckily, I do have that. I have a close circle of friends that I've known for years, a tight family, a fresh start where I am at the moment, and I'm approaching a new chapter in my life sometime soon. Before that though, I would just go to work for a few hours, go home and just game, and that was it. It became a depressive cycle of its own. Too much of something can still be bad in this case, and it was like that for me for a long time. It's like with food where you can have whatever you want, but only in moderation. And in my case, I was having too much of gaming and not moderating it properly. I was simply just doing too much of it, of one thing over everything else, sitting down with a controller or a mouse and keyboard, just for the sake of filling time, whether I was bored or if I was just coping with something. But in between that though, I would still have some fun. It wasn't just all depression, and some games that I loved, I had a blast with them, and some other experiences I had a blast with as well. But it was also getting to a point where back then and as of late, I would go into what I call an autopilot state, where I would go through the motions of whatever game I played, and then I would just move on to the next thing without thinking about it again. Even for making videos, I would play some titles for the sake of getting footage, only to never play or think about them again. This is a symptom of burning out, a realization that grass needs to be touched and you need to go and do some other shit for a while, then come back with a new perspective and a clear head. And to be clear about all of this, I'm not quitting gaming whatsoever. That's not what this is about. Gaming itself was never the root problem to my problems or me quitting gaming for a short period of time. It was simply just how much time I would spend without balancing out other important things. Just having a very unbalanced life that revolved around gaming. There are people out there that will quit gaming on the dime only to replace it with an equivalent, and that can be a trap in itself. It's generally the lack of focus, purpose, and discipline that are the usual suspects when it comes to addiction to one thing or another, in case of, say, gaming or reading books all the time or watching movies all the time, where you feel like that there's nothing to do but that throughout some days. And some of those things can help fill the void sometimes, but if you're always going back to square one, it's got nothing to do with those things. And the problem is generally rooted in something else, something that you're ignoring while doing other things to cope with. Having this channel has helped give it purpose. Playing new games, giving me new content to cover, people sending me games so that I could try it out and provide whatever feedback I can. But it would always be on a whim whenever I would make videos. In fact, I've never scheduled a single video on this platform, not once. I would play something, record it just out of habit, write my script for when I had something I wanted to talk about, record it, edit the video, get other footage if I needed it, and then upload it when it's finished. Move on, rinse and repeat. Some weeks I could put out multiple videos, others 1 or 2 videos, or sometimes none at all. This naturally led to a lot more time being spent on gaming effectively, a constant rush to give life to new ideas for the sake of the channel. So even when you do have a productive outlet, you can still experience burnout with it when you do nothing but grind and you have no balance with your scheduling or no schedule at all, especially when you're getting nothing out of it but satisfaction. I am grateful with the successes that I've been able to achieve, proud of the videos that I've made. Some have been really successful, and I can look at this channel every time and say that this is mine, but when you're moving on from your youth, you need so much more than just that. Taking a break these past few days was needed, for the sake of the channel and my own mental state, so that I could come back renewed and excited. I'm still going to curse people from time to time with 3D stuff and other forms of art, but I am going to slow things down with things on this channel from now on, making room for other things in my life. That is now the new normal. To go out for a walk, being in the presence of other people, learning new things, doing more reading, more research on other interesting subjects, that is what I want to do more of. And when you're pushing 30, this will hit you a lot more differently than when you're younger, just from the fact that you have less time, not necessarily because you're wiser. Balance just becomes vital to a more stable life in the long run, especially as you get older, even when you have a channel going for you. That was the one thing that my channel had always lacked, and that was balance. Balance in the frequency of uploads, subject matter, as well as how much time was spent on it. I was fine with spending hours on multiplayer games, grinding on lobbies, getting those ranks, new skins, opening new cases when I was a lot younger, whatever. But I can't really do that anymore because it's just old to me and it doesn't really do anything for me anymore. Even with the presence of reviews, I've become detached to them over time, and recently I realized just how liberating that feeling felt. For example, when I was younger, I would comb through Goodreads for the best books, filter the Steam store page to show me the highest rated games, all in the pursuit of getting the best experiences possible. The same mentality went for other forms of media too. And I get it. I do. You don't want to waste your money on bullshit. But my epiphany as of late has been the realization that the less I know about something, the more I could potentially enjoy it. I picked up a book called Dead End Memories by an author called Banana Yoshimoto. I never heard of it before, but I had heard the author's name, and I gave myself a few minutes of just looking into what the story was about in the book. It piqued my interest, and I bought it. For more important utilities and other things that affect your life directly, yes, doing research is something that you shouldn't ignore, but with consuming media, you can afford that sense of wonder and discovery, the realization that you don't need to know everything before you buy it. It's okay to not look too far into what the thing is and what it's about, or whether it's good or not, until you've tried it yourself. Buying a new game without knowing a lot about it is nowhere near as consequential compared to something like a car or acquiring real estate or investing into any kind of business without knowing what you're getting into. In the past, whenever I went to bookstores, I would frantically go into Goodreads and look for ratings and reviews while I was in the store. That way, I knew I wasn't buying a shit book. I don't do that anymore. I might look for recommendations, but that's about as far as it goes. With other forms of media, I've been approaching it with the same mentality. For example, I recently bought the House of the Dead remake and Typing of the Dead Overkill. Why? Not because of the reviews and recommendations or ratings or any of that bullshit, but because my sister-in-law's siblings were playing House of the Dead 3 on Xbox, and it looked fun as hell. You have no idea just how much better it feels to not fret over every fucking thought and opinion that circulates around games and just go with your own interest instead. Taking breaks is a good thing. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary. Stopping entirely is something that's up to you, but it is still an option, and there are communities on sites like Reddit, like Stop Gaming, that is full of people with stories where they quit gaming, trying to exist in a world without it. But for me, quitting gaming wasn't exactly what I needed. But balance. Thinking about what's more important in the grand scheme of things. When I made posts about wanting to diversify my content, when I would mention the same thing in recent videos, it was also coming from my desire to be more than just a gaming channel. I wanted to become a whatever is on my mind sort of channel. And while I've not been playing anything, I still stay in the loop about gaming news and whatever's going on in the scene. I'd like to know what's going on, what projects are underway, what other content creators are up to. I like being informed. Stopping gaming for a bit doesn't mean I have to distance myself from the subject entirely. In fact, I've looked towards other aspects of gaming, like game development, music, digital drawing, and 3D modeling, with the other three being flexible and aren't exclusive to gaming. The variety of other hobbies has made me a lot happier as a result. Playing around in Blender can be fun. Making shit in LMMS, which is like music software, can be fun. You know, it's amazing what you can do with the software when you're patient and when you're enjoying it. The same goes for digital drawing and software like Krita. There's other hobbies and skills that I want to also pick up and return to moving forward, and in general, I just want to move forward with things in life, be smarter, more knowledgeable, and be more open-minded. And so that's what I've really just learned from taking breaks from gaming, just knowing that there's a lot more out there than just gaming. I've taken a step back in the past, but with a lot less experience and a more naive perspective. And after seeing some years and making some mistakes on my own, I can now see the value in other things a lot more. I don't need to rush into a new video every single time, or jump on whatever new game is being played. The time that I did spend playing all those games, I could have spent the same amount learning Blender, learning to play guitar, making music, or even just going out more often and learning new things. Gaming is a part of my life and always will be. It gave me new epiphanies and experiences for me to live with, but not all of it was applicable in real life, and you can't just treat life like a game all the time. I can't just go to the train station and do a suplex on a train like in Final Fantasy VI, or get a gun and do a tactical nuke like in Modern Warfare 2, but I can balance out my life with other things, and if I felt like it was best for me, I could quit gaming for good. Making room for other things has made me a lot happier, and because of the time spent on those things, it's made me appreciate gaming more than when I just took it for granted and played for an endless amount of hours. Soon I'm going to be looking into a new game called Blood Typers, a demo version of it anyways, but I'm going to be going at it with a slower pace this time. In fact, I'm not rushing this channel anymore. My life comes first, plain and simple. In saying that, I do want to thank everyone that's supported me over the years and has helped me grow as a channel. Every encouraging comment has made every video with even the lowest views worth it. I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to keep going on and do what's best for me, and of course, I'll still game. But gaming, like I said, is going to be a part of my life rather than just being my life. where I see myself as more than just a gamer. I'm just a man who likes interesting things. That's it. Thanks for watching.